Ahmad Manasra was 13 when Israeli forces arrested him on October 12, 2015, in the occupied East Jerusalem neighborhood of Beit Hanina. He and his cousin, Hassan Manasra, had been accused of involvement in a stabbing attack in the illegal Israeli settlement of Piskat Ze'ev. Hassan, who was 15, was shot and killed near the illegal settlement by Israeli police. Ahmed, who had not carried out the attack and was unarmed, was chased by illegal settlers, struck by a vehicle, and severely beaten while lying injured on the ground. When Israeli forces got to him, Ahmed was bleeding and surrounded by settlers yelling inciting slurs and insults at him. Despite his visible injuries and young age, his captors denied Ahmed immediate medical care. After he was finally brought to a hospital, he was briefly treated and swiftly transferred to an Israeli interrogation facility. He was interrogated without the presence of a lawyer or guardian, in direct violation of international standards on the treatment of children. Interrogation footage released subsequently showed Israeli officers shouting at him, while he cried and repeatedly stated that he could not remember the incident. In 2016, an Israeli court convicted Ahmed of attempted murder under Israeli terrorism laws, sentencing him to 12 years in prison, a term that was later reduced to 9.5 years. Despite forensic evidence confirming that Ahmed had not carried out the stabbings, the court upheld the sentence based on his presence at the scene. Ahmed was placed in Israeli juvenile detention and later in adult prisons, where over time his mental health began to deteriorate. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia, psychotic delusions, and severe depression. Human rights organizations reported that he had also begun to experience hallucinations, withdrawal, and suicidal ideation. Instead of receiving adequate mental health care, Ahmed was subjected to prolonged solitary confinement, sometimes for months at a time. Under international law, including in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, which Israel has ratified, solitary confinement of minors is strictly prohibited and considered a form of torture. In November 2021, Ahmed's condition further deteriorated, and he was transferred to Ayalon Prison Hospital in Ramla, Israel. Prison doctors and independent medical experts confirmed that his condition was critical and that continued imprisonment posed a serious risk to his life. Ahmed's legal team submitted multiple appeals for his early release, supported by medical reports and international legal standards. Israeli courts denied these requests, continuing to justify his imprisonment under counterterrorism legislation. In June 2022, a group of UN human rights experts issued a statement condemning Ahmed's treatment, describing it as the institutionalized and systematic ill-treatment of Palestinian children. Amnesty International and Doctors for Human Rights Israel also called for his immediate release, stating that his detention amounted to cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment. As of April 2025, Ahmad Manasra is 22 years old. He has spent nearly a decade in Israeli prisons, most of those years under conditions that violate multiple international laws and conventions. Released in April 2025 after spending the entirety of his teenage years in Israeli prisons, his story is yet another example of how the Israeli occupation systematically criminalizes and mistreats Palestinian children with total impunity, leaving them scarred for life.